Good evening all, can you hear me? Can you hear the sounds? Music is working. Music should be going. It's just very, very gentle sound behind the scenes. Working. Can you guys see me? Yes. So this is really crap because I have, as you probably are all aware of, I have one of these funky gadgets. The Elgato Stream Deck, which is cool. Except that it doesn't even realize that Streamlabs is running and none of the buttons work now. And I think it's got something to do with the fact that when I fired up Streamlabs just now, it updated and something has gone. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. There are bits of this that are working. Like I can see, for example, where are we? Yeah, all the stuff that's outside of OBS, Streamlabs OBS, is functioning, but nothing else. So yeah. Anyway, good evening. Who have we got? We've got Zorkat, Menz, Mugu. We've got Outwolf, Burgo MG, Archbishop. Thank you very much for coming in. Cheers to you. I have Guy Kuro tonight because hacking without tea is very uncivilized. Oh, it's so tasty. Okay. To accompany us on our journey with our tea, this evening's chocolate. This is the Green and Black's Mint. It's a 70%, but I feel like a bit of flavour this evening, so that's what we're going for. There is a bot connected to this channel at Wolf, but I think the reason why Xorcat is able to keep tabs on how many times get system is referenced is because he's probably using IRC and has logs. That would be my guess, or something along those lines anyway. So cheers to all of you folks out there who have tea and chocolate. So good. There you go. Ursi for the win. Man, that's exactly what I needed. So, anyway, as I work my way through my streams this evening, you'll notice that it'll be a little bit slower because I'm clicking stuff when I would otherwise be pressing buttons on my Stream Deck. Ooh. Wow. Fruit sensation. That sounds very tempting. Exotic indeed. Right. Now, where do we get to? You're welcome, Rasta. There are actually a bunch of people that I have on Signal or Telegram that if I know enjoy watching the streams every now and then, I will ping them directly. So if I don't have your Signal or Telegram and you feel like getting a personalized ping from moi when we go live, then let me know. I'll add you to the list. Have we seen DNS tunnel over TLS? Would be a nice... No, I haven't looked into that. I got wind of it, but I haven't dived into the implementation. I think it'd be something fun that we could build and play with a bit later on. Oh, man, that tea is so good. So does everyone remember where we got to last? Let me just flick the scene. Sorry, I was about to press a button and I know it doesn't work, so let's go. Here we go. You guys see that? I assume you can. So last time we got together, which was a week ago again, apologies for that. Life has been a little bit on turbo. Lots of stuff has happened. We had some new work going on last week. Had the company that I work for hired another person, so we gone from 2 people to 3 people, which is awesome. So I'm pretty excited about that. And so yeah, that was a big thing for last week, and so week 2's kicked off, and just I was exhausted last week, and then I had the family thing happen, and you know, shit is what it is. Cheers. Who used the T emote? Jan808. Chin chin, my friend. Maybe we'll have a play with the DNS over TLS another time. And look who's back. Barney's in the house. Thanks for coming in, Jeff. Nice to see you as always, mate. Ah, now you've picked a gap in my bot there, Rasta Mouse. I don't have anything for tea. I should probably have something in the bot that says what tea and what chocolate we're currently enjoying. That is a very good idea. So I'm going to add that to the next stream. So when people hit bang tea, they'll know what I'm drinking. When they hit bang choc, they'll know what we're eating. That's a fantastic idea. Nice. Okay. All right, let's get to it. So last time we finished off, we got a few bits and pieces done in standard API, which was pretty good. I think we got maybe one of the core commands knocked over as well. And where we left it was we wanted to be able to get together and someone said get system. We wanted to get together and work through the channel related stuff because channels are going to unlock some more of the interesting functionality. However, haven't put figure 4 in there either, buddy. However, building out the channel infrastructure is going to take a bit of time. So kind of made the decision to try and fit it into a one sort of 4 or 5 hour stream. And we're hoping to do that over the weekend, but unfortunately that didn't happen because I was pretty flat out. Yeah, bang song. Unfortunately, the song, you'll have to look here for the song title. Should be just below my finger. So I'm kind of two minds as to what to do because we really need to get going on channel related functionality. But I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to put 4 hours into a stream next. So we might just have to break it up over a couple. What do you guys want to do? Should we fill out more functionality or should we just get started on the channel thing? Raise your hands. Putting it to a vote. Cast your votes now, people. That's a very good point, Barney. Savage. Get going with start with functionality. So what do you mean by that, Mugu? Do you mean like going and building up another set of functions, or don't break, play Rocket League? I probably will play Rocket League on stream soon, given I've had a few people ask, but I'll probably use a different channel for that and host it. So I think what we can continue to do, like we did last time, is in our sessions we were just running through the features that were available in help and slowly but surely trying to implement those things, right? Where are we? So things like, where are we? We can't do any of those yet. System commands. So that one there, we did get env. We didn't do getpid, did we? Yeah, I think so, Mugu. I'm kind of the same. Yes, we did finish the crypto setup at Wolf. Notes are permanent notes of things to never go back and actually to do. That's correct, Menz. Spoken like a true dev. There are a couple of to-dos that I am fully aware of and we will go back to them. Don't be cheeky. All right. How about we work in something like, we could actually start working on registry functionality. To work on mucking with the registry, I say we go. Let's implement getpid, and we can probably do getsid if we haven't already, and kill. There's a few easy wins in here, so how about we do these? Yeah. Thanks, Rasta. We're all fucking amazing. Thanks, man. Just steal all the thunder. Jeez. All right, let's we're gonna implement getpid, kill, and then registry. Should we do that? Eric's on stream too. Webcam snap. Yeah, you know, webcam snap could be fun. We could muck with clipboard stuff. That's all coming. By the way, Rust, I have no idea why you put parentheses around process.getCurrentProcess. That seems rather superfluous to me. But, you know, far be it from me to be the critic. I would hate to be the critic. You guys are awesome. I love having you guys on stream. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so let's go code, Metasploit, framework. Let's just quickly look for what I think is going to be standard API. Is it sysprocess? Yep, there's getpid. I did that on purpose. So we've got getpid, standard API, and getpid. So let's add getpid. Now that is a process-related function, isn't it? Is that where it was? Sysprocess. So we'll actually have to add a new one just here. So let's go add new item, sysprocess. Be good if I had focus in the right spot. Sysprocess. Clear up this nonsense. Now, what we're doing for each one of these, what are we doing? Standard API, yep, that's right. And then we've got basically the overrides. Not that they're actually overrides, but maybe we could normalize the interface for this a little bit when we tidy up our code. Let's have a look. Sysprocess getpid. Oops. Oh, we have a new tier 2 subscriber, Gombos. Thank you. You're a legend, mate. That's 3 months in a row. Very kind of you. Thanks for your ongoing support, mate. It means the world to me. You're a legend. Register X name this dot get pid. Oops. Always a pleasure having you on stream, dude. Sysconfig. Okay, so now we need to actually implement this thing, which I believe is, I mean, I can't see why getpid would be anything other than inline. Sorry, not inline, threaded. It wouldn't be a blocking function. So, 3 months, baby, you're a legend. You are a legend. Oh, man, jeez, I tell you what, I wish I unnailed the brew tonight. That's epic. Right, so we don't care about anything in the request. All we care about is the response. We're going to add a TLV type dot standard API. Let's see if we've got it in here. There's probably not in here already, given that we have to add this stuff ourselves. Oh, look, SID's already in there. Have we done that already as part of our... No, we probably haven't. Standard API, I'm guessing it'll be a PID. And that PID would be an integer. So that would be system dot... No. Oh, man, terrible. System.diagnostics.process.getCurrentProcess. What is that returning? That's returning a process. And what are we returning here? Getpid. Why is that an extension? That doesn't make any sense. Hang on. Process.getCurrent. Oh, it's a function. That's why. Process name. ID. There it is. Big T blah. Okay. That should be it, right? We just need to make sure that we specify this PID properly. So we'll add these babies to keep things consistent. Cheers. Now, if we're going to be doing this, then going back to our original implementation, there's got to be a PID in here somewhere, right? Type PID 2300. So there's a bunch of stuff in here that we aren't using yet, but I'm only going to add the stuff that we don't currently have. We've got process name, path, group, flags, etc. Clearly, when we're we are enumerating processes, which we may actually do as part of this stream. We're using all of these things. So 2300 is the PID. Now I assume, given that that's what we're utilizing, I can search for this here and we'll find it in a couple of spots. Come on, internets. Pardon me. Process attach. There's a process attach? Really? That's interesting. Process to attach to. So you can attach to a process. There's also kill, which uses PID, and getpid. There you go. So that's all we're doing, is we're just getting the current process ID and returning success. So this is a nice, easy one. Let's go to the definition of TLV types, and we know that we're putting our process stuff in, what was it, around 2300? So we haven't actually put anything in here yet. Standard API. Should we call it process ID to make it nice and clear? And just quickly, what was it again? 2300. Okay. 2300. Just to make this nice and verbose. Process ID. Now what is this returning? ID is an int. So we'll just uint that puppy, because that's how weak we are. Oh no, not again. We've got an anonymous gifter throwing subs. So Burgo MG, St. Mano, Linsec, Angry Little Hamster, who is Angry's back. Didn't see them, right? And Insolent Fool. Lucky you, Mitch. So shout out to the person who has gifted the subscriptions. I don't know who you are, but yet again you've rocked up and thrown money at all the things. Thank you. I hope one day you reveal who you are. Is it just me, or is it always when Barney's on stream? He claims it's not him. I get personal messages claiming that it's not Barney. I don't know, man. Ha. Something's going on. I want to know who it is. That's a good use of money. Righto, let's add an existing. I will wire this into the .NET 4 version as well. We just added sysprocess, didn't we? So add as a link. Now, we also need to, inside our plugin, we need a this.sysprocess equals new sysprocess. And that needs to be declared as a field. And off we go. Now we need our, have we still got our listen? I'm pretty sure we do. Yep, that's looking pretty good. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens here. We'll stick a breakpoint on getpid and run. Oh, hang on. That's not good. We've got to rebuild. Local 3.5, that should be okay. Is our IP changed? Our IP has changed. Really? Isn't that interesting? Because our L host 146.128. So it looks like we've just, for some reason, VMware's given me a new IP address. It's now 153. Local 35. So we'll change that to 53. And we'll kick that off again. Now we just have to duck over to our console testing program and change this to 153. It's a bit bizarre. Tea is gold. See if we have a bit more luck this time. Looks like we do. Righto. Getpid. That's what we want to do. Oh, wait, ooh, huh? Oh, yeah, okay. I know what I've done wrong. It's all well and good creating an instance, but we also need to register. We need to register all of the plugins. So now we should, when we look at, where do we have system commands? See, there were no process commands in here, like getpid. So what happens now when we look at the help? Getpid. Was it there before? No. What does getpid do? Looks like it's working. 10512. Now, there's no reason to insinuate that this could be wrong, but we will check just to be sure. Details. Let's order by PID. 10512. Boom. Easy win, hey? Okay, so that's cool. That wasn't exactly tricky. Now the other things that we were going to build. So kill, we need to kill a process. Now the interesting thing about kill is that there's functionality in there to try and stop you from killing yourself, which is a good thing. But you also need to be able to override that. So there is a feature of this that prevents you from doing it, but you can say, I am sure I want to kill myself. Pardon me. So looking at the native implementation, if we look for kill, see how we go through all of the PIDs. What on earth? Why on earth? Oh, I see why it's doing it. Yeah, okay. So we open the process to try and terminate, and if we can, then we terminate it. So that's attempting to attach to the process on the way. So kill-s is basically the suicide button, yeah. Well, kill dash, if you look at the documentation for it, I think you'll find. Killed the session because I'm a dum-dum. And it won't be there in the documentation because it's fucking not present. So let's open up. Well, let's just quickly wire it in. Let's quickly wire it in. Getpid, kill. Okay, we'll take a copy of this. And we're just going to leave it blank for now. Build. Let's run it again. So this should at least give us the documentation. Right. kills all the PIDs that you give it. And -s says kills the PID associated with the current session. Now I believe that when you specify -s on the command line, Meterpreter will get the current PID and add it to the list. So it is already there, see? Did that a while ago. So what we need to do is we need to loop through all of the TLVs. var PID list equals. What can we do? We need to go default list. Oh, I hate it when it does that. I just want the word list without autocomplete. Thank you. And then I can add system.generic, and then we can say if request.try get value TLV type dot standard API process ID PID list. Oh, I've got to specify out as a parameter. So if we're able to get them, then for each var PID in PID list dot select. No, yes, select using link. The TLV is what we're getting. So TLV dot get value as dword. So that'll give us all of the PIDs. And for each one of those, if we're going to emulate the behavior of this, then we should probably do this process.open. Let's have a look. Process. Can we do any of these? Get process by ID. Here we go. Get process by ID. Returns a new process component given a process identifier. Now, machine. So you can do it on a remote machine. That's interesting. Process ID. So we can just pass in PID. So we can, oh, that'll give us an unsigned integer and it's expecting an int. So we need to cast it. Var process equals process by bar. So what happens if returns new process? So if it doesn't exist, process is not null. I assume it can come back as null. So we should make sure that it's not. So process dot kill. Seems legit, doesn't it? Yeah, when I wear my my black shirt in front of the green screen with this background, it looks like I've got sparkles. And then if I turn this on, the sparkles go away. Do you want sparkles or no sparkles? We've had sparkles. Let's go with no sparkles tonight. Running out of tea, which is pretty upsetting. So let's spin up a process. Gomboss loves. Oh, that's big. Okay, vote for sparkles is in. Sparkles it is. I hate to disappoint. So Notepad. Notepad is running, and the process is 11732. I do need a tea runner. I wonder if I should employ the wife. She's rather camera shy, so I think getting her on stream would be rather difficult. Okay, let's build that. We'll get another session going. And if we can kill... Which one was it? 17732. Operation failed? What do you mean operation failed? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. It makes no sense at all. Let's do that again. Looks like it's not even wiring it in. Hey, have I got this correct? Oh, we've got another follower. Gosh K's. Thank you for the follow. It's very kind of you. I'm going to go back to here. And just quickly figure out why we are not getting what we think we're getting. Sys process kill. Let's request a standard API sys process kill. Isn't that what I wrote? Pretty sure that's what I wrote. Standard API sys process kill. So this should at least be getting invoked. Make use of Ozjock. Yeah, he can't make tea. Now this is interesting. Why on earth are we not seeing this even get invoked? So that kind of implies that when we call kill, other stuff's happening. So let's go ag command kill. Standard API. Let's have a look at what's going on here. We'll vim that one. Yeah, that's all we need. Command kill. So what is it doing here? Does it include -s? If self-destruct, then grab the PIDs. Validate PIDs. Here we go. Check this out. Validate PIDs is getting the processes. So we can't kill without implementing get processes. Isn't that a bit strange? Rastermouse, check that PID again. Well, the reason why I'm thinking it's not the PID is because we don't even see our thing invoked. And after quickly nosing through here, you can see that it actually tries to validate the PID that we're currently trying to kill by calling client sysprocess get processes. So that's what we're going to implement now. Cheer 20 PID. Thanks for wasting your bits on me, Rasta. So we will stop this. We're going to have to implement process list. I appreciate your efforts. Process, I assume it's going to be a process list. So let's grab this really cheap function because it's a lovely baseline to work from. List. Alrighty. Get rid of that. Now we're going to have to implement a bunch of other bits and pieces here for this. I assume we're going to have all of these. Pardon me. So let's take a copy of these. Stick them in the TLVs because we're going to need them all. Was PID the first one? I'm pretty sure it was, wasn't it? Yeah, we don't need any of that other stuff at this stage. So let's just start with PID. Okay, so process name is going to be a string. 2301. Path will be 2302. Group. So that's a group, and that's 2303. Flags is going to probably be a uint. 2304. Arguments, that's got to be a string. Arguments. String 2305. Arch is a uint. What? Oh. I find that very interesting. Why is that a uint? Process arch. It's number 6. Parent process ID is 2307. And then session is 8. I'm pretty sure all of those are needed for process listing, so we'll shove those in. Laters. Oh, see you, Barney. Yeah, definitely talk about Raster Labs. People, Raster Labs. Get in on it. It's good stuff. Righto. Let's quickly look at the existing employee and make sure that we're doing all the things that we need to be doing. I'm hoping this isn't what we're about to implement. Phew, execute. List. Oh, come on. Get processes. So that's probably what this thing is going to be called, isn't it? There you go. All right, I should make that a little bit more consistent, shouldn't I? So we'll grab this, stick it in here. Get processes. Okay. Get processes. Scary complex. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. It's hard to get a quick win around here, isn't it? This one is actually not too bad, but by the looks of it, this one is doing the, I want to know if I can get SE debug, because if you can, I think, what is it trying to do? If we can get SE debug, first we'll try to get a process list via the tool help API. This method gives the most information on all processes. If that works, so if it doesn't work, we'll try and do it via PS API, which we don't actually have to do any of these. We can just use the .NET APIs to do it. But what is this thing here doing? If we can, get SE debug privilege. So this is toggling the SE debug privilege on the current process. I assume that's because that's going to be able, that will allow us to get more information out of targets. Yeah, I don't know. Let's come back to this. To begin with, we're just going to iterate over the processes, right? So let's do that. Process.get processes for each. So, what does that return? For each process in, I should probably go for each, not for each. This should be fairly simple. This the .NET API does make this very, very easy. PS list via tool help. It's obviously in a different file for some reason. Here we go. Right, I remember looking at these. Ugh, what a mess. So let's see what it's doing. It's getting a couple of function pointers, and then while able to do bits and pieces, getting a path, getting username, getting architecture, and then adding this result. So right now, what I'm interested in is this PS add result. I'd like to see what the implementation of this is because I want the TLVs. Here we go. So type PID. PID's an obvious one. All right, so let's do this. We're going to need a TLV group for each one of these, I assume. This would probably be doing add TLV group. So var group, or we say process TLV equals response.add group TLV type dot standard API process group. Okay, so now we can go process TLV dot add TLV type standard API process ID. We can go process dot ID, and we know again that's an integer, so we have to cast that to an unsigned integer. It's a bit easier than doing it the native way, isn't it? Okay, so we want the process name. Now, question is like, is the process name the same as the path? Process name. Makes it easy, doesn't it, eh? Process tlv.add tlv type.stand API process name. Substantially easier. Process path. Process path. Is there a path in here? Can't see one. Let's have a look. Standard threads. There's going to be a reference to where the file is on disk somehow. Somewhere in here. Jeez, there's a lot of info in here, isn't there, hey? Session ID, we know we're going to need that. Threads, wait for exit, working set. Interesting. Current working directory, I don't think is hanging off the process, to be honest. It's in start info. Of course it is. Love your work. Thank you very much, Bergam G. That is very nice of you. Silverly Zero has just followed. Thank you for the follow. That's very kind of you. File name. Is that the same as path? Is there a path in here? Verbs, password, file name, application or document to start. It's got to be that, hasn't it? We'll just put file name in and see what pops out. But that was very helpful, thanks. I completely forgot about start info because I'm an idiot. Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure that's what it is. Process. Hang on, what was that one? TLV type username. Here we go. Username. Now I don't think is there a username here? Yeah, there is. That's a winner. Gets or sets the name to be used when starting the process. Okay. That works for me. Yeah, I used to be in there all day myself, but clearly it's been a long time since I have, so I'm grateful that you're here. Grateful that you're here. Now we'll obviously have to test that I'm doing the things appropriately. Now I would assume here that standard API process architecture. I don't know whether this is going to be as easy to get. Can we get that out of something magical? Let's have a look at what this does. Actually, no, let's come back to architecture because I'm pretty sure we can get everything else out. Standard API process session. We know this has a session ID and that is an integer. So let's do the glorious casting thing. And the other thing was the parent PID. Process dot. Is there a parent PID in here? I wonder where we can get the parent PID from. Any ideas? .NET get parent process ID. Is there a process.parent? Oh, there's a parent function. Is there? Parent. Nah. This code provides a nice interface. Ah, it's an extension. Find PID from indexed process name. Find pif string index process name. Wait up. Somebody else has got a better one. Get parent process. Get parent process returns process dot get. Okay. Get parent process. Process dot get current process dot. I said there's another one that takes a handle. Oh Jesus. We have another. Bloodspurty has subbed. Thank you for the prime subs. Very kind of you. You're a legend, mate. Thank you for that. See, that's using WMI. We don't want to do that. Get all process parent PIDs. We don't want that either. So we're kind of stuck, I think, using... What's parent process utilities? These members must match process basic information. Oh, it's... Wow. Okay, so that's pretty mucky. I think Arch is going to be a Win32P invoke. Yeah, I'm kind of concerned that it's going to be that as well. It's got to be a nicer way. No slow performance counters. Internal only MSDN says, yeah, we know that. Parent might be in a similar bucket. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that we're going to have to use something similar to this. I don't really like it, to be honest. It kind of references itself when it calls NT query information process. Get processed by ID. Jesus, what a mess. Is that really the best we can do? How do I get the PID of the parent process in my app? Parent. See if there are any other nicer ones out here. It's referencing the same thing. That's using WMI. That's using WMI. This is using... It's effectively doing the same thing as the native, which I'm really not keen on. So it looks like we are going to have to use this dude's helper. We were doing so well. Crikey. How about we just do... Maybe we'll have a private... Let's take the crux of this and we'll just make it a little cleaner, or fit at least in line with what we're trying to do. DL import. I'm going to get rid of all of these awful comments. Keep that component model stuff in there somewhere. Oops. I hate these comments at the start of functions because most of them are really obvious. Anyway, let's see what we can do here, because if we can call get parent process, if we put this inside an extension, that would probably make more sense. Let's add a new item called process extensions. Now, if we take this, maybe we need, whoops, It's all of these, isn't it? There we go. Okay, let's quickly... Oops, did I do something stupid there too? Oh yeah, it's because of that. Let's remove unnecessary usings and we'll do the same here. Do our quick addition of all of the bits and pieces that we need. Now this is going to be a private struct to this class. And here we're going to have a public static class. We're going to go public static process get parent process. This process now all we need to do is return parent process utilities dot get parent process. We can give it the okay, so we can get rid of all of these because that's the only one that we need. We've already got the process. Okay, so that means in here we can just get the parent process ID by doing uint process.getParent process. Just need to add the extensions and then we can get the ID. Whew, yucky. P-invoke, yeah. Launch place explorer, man. You're all trolls. Angry little hamster. The other option is to pass the parent process ID to the child on creation. No, we can't actually do that, mate, because what we're doing is we're enumerating all of the existing processes. So we can't really say whether we were in no control at the time that those processes are invoked. So we basically have to enumerate them this way. Given you have a full path of the binary, could you just check the binary itself that's running for the architecture? Yes, there are cases though where you couldn't necessarily get, and let's not forget that not everything is going to be a .NET assembly. So more likely, I guess. The thing is, if you're trying to get the architecture of a process and you don't have permission to hit the file on disk for some reason, maybe, yeah. Don't know. I think there's dragons in there. I'd much rather do a single p invoke if we had to. Anyway, let's just go with what we've got here. Let's see if that builds. Does not contain different. Yes, it does. It does. I made it. It goes in here. Ah, yeah. I need to add it to metserve extensions. Add existing 3.5 extensions, process extensions as link. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to stick a breakpoint here because what I'd like to do is just to see whether any of these things work. Okay. That does a thing. Ooh, access is denied. CTF mon. So at what point is that failing? So if we don't have access to list processes, we should still be able to get a subset, right? We just can't get the parent process. Let's throw a try, and if we can catch... Let's do the Pokemon pattern for now. Ironically though, we're... let's see if it actually does it here. Build. Boom, boom. Rocket League again. Rocket League tunes in my head. PS. Okay, so we're going to get null references now. Didn't I stick a... Okay, so what's in here? Access is denied. What kind of exception is it? ex.getType. It is a Win32 exception. So what I'll do is I'll take this. Let's go process.get parent process. If parent doesn't equal null, then we will add parent ID. Let's just do that. It could be that. I'm gonna have a. I don't think that's exactly what we're seeing here, because we're probably getting or trying to get information on, like when we try and get a reference to the parent of CTFmon or CFTmon or whatever it is, we don't have access to that process, so that's probably why it's bitching. Ugh. Oof. Not exactly what I wanted to see. Session. Okay, so there are cases there where this is along the right lines. User and path clearly aren't working. So maybe the start info stuff is blank, because in cases where we should be able to get stuff like MS build and devenv and stuff, that should be filled out. The name is not really the same as what I was hoping for either. Kind of want .exe in there, right? Let's do this again. PS. Okay, so we'll have a quick look at process. So we've got conhost here. What are we looking for? We actually want the full as main module. Ooh, main module.filename. That's what we want. So it's process name and process path. We've also got arguments here, which we didn't add. But I'm pretty sure that's what we're more interested in. So main module.file name. Rather than process name, because that's not giving us everything that we want. Process start info. What's in here? Nothing special. I'm pretty sure that like we'll be able to get information on the context that particular process is running under by looking at other things, such as, like, for example, the thread. There'd be some kind of identifier user associated with the thread. Is that actually a thread object? It's a process thread object. Thread state, non-public. Thread info. Yeah, I guess not. But yeah, I think the first thing that we should do is change that first thing. Where were we? Main module dot file name. There's even file version info hanging off it. Maybe that can give us architecture. Private build. Special build. Doesn't give us the architecture, does it? Debug patched. Can anyone see it? I can't see it. Would have been great if the arch just sat off that as well, hey? There's nothing in the private members either. Okay, so process name will be process.mainModule dot file name. So I think in doing this, this will at least look a little bit more sane when we PS off this. Got a breakpoint here? No. Ah, really? We don't have access to the... Yeah, we kind of want the full path. We actually want the full path because that's what the native one does. Now, why would access be denied? So like we look here, obviously in the debugger it's a bit different. Main module. Thing is, do we want... Maybe what we could do is go try... This is pretty messy. And if we're unable to do that, then we'll just fall back to... whoops. Process name. It's pretty ugly. Hind. Yeah, easy. Ooh. Okay, so this is becoming sort of more in line with what I was expecting to see. So for things that we have permissions to view, we can see stuff. Now, what else do we need to give it? Session. Oh, hang on. So path and name are different things. Right, so I am doing something wrong, and I think someone already mentioned that. So that means then that we kind of do stick the process name in as is, and we can specify path. That's there we go. Right, so this needs to go like this. Does this make more sense? We'll change this in a minute. I did type patch, but then I fixed it. And I wasn't trying to fish bits out of people. That was just a fat finger. Sorry. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit more in line with what I would expect. Session, user, and path. So now we need to figure out the user. Oh, you don't get the Pokemon reference. So Rastamouse. Have you ever heard the phrase "gotta catch 'em all"? It's a Pokemon thing, and this is what developers should know as the Pokemon pattern, because you are catching every exception regardless. So you're catching all the exceptions. You're catching all this. The Pokemon pattern. Yeah. Yeah. It is actually an anti-pattern, the Pokemon pattern. Got to catch them all. Stops your program from crashing, right? Didn't you want the file name to show the exe though, instead of things like at the top where the system and registry? I don't quite understand what you're alluding to there. I think this is actually how it should be now, because Chrome is the name and there's the path to the exe, which is what it should have been. I'm pretty sure we need to give it the arguments as well if we have access to them, but that's process start info doesn't seem to be helping. So let's see what we got here. We've got exe name and exe path. Username. So the username is being passed in though, right? So the get username. Let's see what this is doing. Open process token, get token information, getting token user, look up account sid. Fucking hell. This is pretty awful. Maybe run native and see what spits out. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do in just a minute, Outwolf, because I'm not really sure either. .NET get process arguments. Let's see what this says. Process.get command line. Intentionally empty, no security access in the process. That'll intentionally empty get the process. Alright, so I'm gonna do more WMI, yeah. No, we don't need WMI. We can call this get command line thing. Which I had a feeling. Oh shit, hang on. No. I'm not doing that. Process.get command line. See, that's just filthy. There's gotta be a .NET way of doing this. Oh, crikey, don't you love that? I wrote another DLL that you can reference. We may have to p-invoke again. Far out. There's got to be some nicer ways of doing this. Come on, stop making it so bad. .NET. WTS query session information. Yeah, I'm not using WMI for this. I would rather p-invoke. Ugh, it's just so gross. I'd rather do what the native code is doing. To get the arguments. Where is it? It's going to be in here, isn't it? Oh my god. Oh no, I see. I've just had a quick squiz over this PS get path. That's querying the frigging peb. No. Oh my god, that's horrible. Oh, yuck. Gets the native architecture of the system. We don't care about that. I want to know. Oh, jeez. So many open process calls. So let's go back to ps-get username. So it is pulling the username out of the token associated with the process. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add... The thing is, we're going to be doing so many things. There's so many things in here that will require us to gobble an exception and effectively just ignore it. So I'm going to do something that I'm not exactly proud of, but bear with me. We're going to add a new class called so what do I want to do? I wonder if I can hang it off this. If we can go public static t I'm going to rename this. And then we're going to take a function that gives it t and a t result. Try return f obj catch return default t a result. This is pretty filthy. Oh yeah. Am I? Oh yeah, there we go. Does everyone know what we're can I do this? Oh yeah, I can. Whew. This is cool, isn't it? No, the start info didn't have anything in it. So does everyone know what I'm doing here? So what I can do here is instead of using the Pokemon pattern, I can go process dot Pokemon. Why do I find this so funny? I can do that and get rid of this. Oops. That's hilarious. Do you like that? I wonder if we can do the same here. Nah, leave that alone. But so anyway, you can see why I'm like, there are cases where you just go, you know what? That's basically what I want. I'm not going to leave it as Pokemon. It's still kind of not doing what I want it to do because it will add a TLV that's empty. Which is actually okay in this scenario. I think. Something break. Unable to extract value from a TLV of type group. What? What? Alright, let's see what we're doing here. This, what is this? What are we parsing? We are parsing a process path. Ah. Value as string. What? And what was the exception? Value as string. Expected type. Unable to extract a value from a TLV of type group. Hang on a minute. This dot value is null. Ah, that's a terrible exception, isn't it? Okay, so here I'm barfing because we are actually parsing, or what looks to be we're parsing a, hang on, to raw value as string. Validate type. If this dot value is null, we've assumed that it's a group. It's actually valid to have a null value, but that just goes to show that putting this in place in this way is not what we want. What we should actually do to make this a little more readable is, let's go, oops. Let's take that and we'll go var file name equals, and then we can say if file name doesn't equal null, then we can add, oops, we can add the file name here. Christ, really can't type tonight. So we'll shove file name in here. That will keep the TLV parser happy. It is pretty funny, isn't it? Oh, let's be fair, that's pretty funny. I am going to rename it. It does not belong as Pokemon. So that should actually work. There we go. Alright, so the only thing that I'm kind of annoyed about right now is that we don't have the ability to get anything like the username off stuff. So process dot. I'd like to think that you could like go through the threads. Session ID, processor name. Machine name, handle. It's like so much stuff in here. That is interesting. That we can't use. .NET get name of user. Hang on. Get process user name. How do I turn the owner? Retrieving the username of a running process. Oh look, WMI. WMI. This is more interesting. Since WL is not always fast, turn value is not one of those systems. In order to get the names of processes running under the system, user will need to execute this code as admin, which is fine. This is probably the closest I've seen to what we would look to do, because everyone else is using WMI. That is not useful unless it's in the current program. I'm looking at your code, you'll be generating potential first access denied. Yep, that's fine. P invoke with the special event, get process for. In I think we're gonna have to do this P invoke thing again. Process Explorer, you can unless you're privileged. Yeah, that's right. But you can at least, for those that you do have permission to. How to get persona current ID also shows WMI. For anyone wondering, Barney is winning the GS Olympics. Yes, he is. All right, let's rip this out because I'm going to probably whack this in as an extension. Process extensions. Let's see what we can do here. Let's go public static string get process user. Now, this is interesting. Open process token. Like clearly we need to. We're P invoking again, which is horrid. Yeah, that's fair. Now the question here is Windows Identity disposable? I thought it was. Yes, it is. So what should happen here is we should go using, not usering, using var Windows Identity. God, I'm fat fingering badly tonight. You know what? I am not going to be stripping that out because we actually want domain/user. So we're just going to go return wi.user like so. Dot. Hang on, what have I done? Ah, it's dot name. There we go. We'll call it get username. And so inside this process, get username. See what happens here. Excuse me. It's nearly 9:30. Whoops, can't type. Let's see what happens now. It broke. Oh, are we specifying null again? Looks like we are. This standard API username. Okay, so we need this username. Var username equals get username. If username doesn't equal null, whew. Getting closer, people. This was supposed to be a very simple mechanism, wasn't it, eh? There'd be dragons everywhere, huh? Oh, there we go. Isn't that interesting? Now what happens if we exit out of that? Let's open containing folder. Get rid of the .bin folder. Okay, bin debug. Sorry, interpreter test console bin debug. I'm gonna run this as admin. YOLO. -1. What happens when we PS now? Ooh. Look at that. That's cool. System. Local service. That works quite well. Shiny. Now that's running as admin without having to do the SE debug thing, which is what I wanted to test. So that's clearly working. System, local service, etc. Now, I'm pretty sure that there are going to be other... Oh, actually, no, there are no other parameters when you list processes. All of the filtering is done in the MSF side. It's one of the most inefficient things ever. So instead of pushing some query parameters down to say, hey, I'm interested in this user or I'm interested in system services, you basically say, pull all of the processes back and we will filter all those processes locally. So if there were like 3,000 million processes and only one of them was a system process, and you're like, give me just the system process, it will still pull back every single process from Meterpreter to MSF, and MSF would do the filtering, which is pretty dumb. It's been on my to-do list to fix that for a little while, actually. Anyway, so I think we're pretty close to having this, I'm going to say, done. If we did ps-s, ps-s. There you go. So -s says just give me a system. If we went ps-s, all I want is notepad processes. PID 11732. Killing 11732. Is there any notepads left? No. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It's pretty crap though that killing processes requires you to process list behind the scenes. So what happens if we kill ourselves? Boom. That's by design. Do you like that? It's pretty nifty, isn't it? There's actually a good use for that. So what are the bits and pieces where that we need to return that was blank that shouldn't be blank. I think that was it, wasn't it? We've got everything in there. The native version doesn't seem to be doing any more, so I don't think we need to do any more than that. Add results, adding all of the bits and pieces that we've added. So we've got process architecture. .NET get process architecture. How to determine whether a particular process is. That's more like it. Get current process. No, we don't want about that. Okay, so that's not what we're looking for. Find out if another process. Oh, there you go. P-invoke. That's actually that's not too bad. That's actually nowhere near as bad as I was expecting. Here's the Windows 64 emulator. Not a 64-bit Windows emulator. Yeah, we don't care about whether it's a... Okay, so that's determining whether you're running WoW 64, but I don't really care about that. Microsoft version compatibility should work around post and co. What happens when Vista comes out? Yeah. Yeah, we don't care about that. This is not really what we're looking for, is it? I don't want to know if is WoW 64. I suppose that would tell you. This is actually wrong. Is 64-bit? Is WoW 64? No, if it's a WoW 64, then it's 32-bit. So it's pretty easy, I guess, if we're assuming we're on Windows. If it's a 64-bit OS, I don't even know whether that's specified in the environment as it currently stands. Let me just check. Environment, system.environment. Okay, so I wonder what this does. I would love to know what that is. But then again, this is cool, isn't it? Not available in 3.5. So I don't really want that anyway. Like we kind of want to know whether or not the OS is 64-bit or not, which we have done in standard API sysconfig, haven't we? Sysinfo, get system architecture. We cheated. Yeah, right. We cheatificated based on environment variables. I am not using WMI. Raster, stop it. Stop it. It's all so horrible. No. I refuse. It's just so horribly noisy and slow and just doesn't feel like the right thing to be doing. Plus, it makes a lot of noise. It makes less noise than p-invoking. So again, looking at the native version, determining the architecture. PS get arch. Here we go. So what are we doing? Grab the native systems architecture for the first time we use this function. Okay, so that's just static. Get native arch. Default x86. Must default to an unknown architecture suppressed maybe, but we may not have the rights to open it. You can't open it. Open limited. Yeah, that's pretty gross. I'm wondering if we should also, after this is done, we'll need a cross-platform .NET Core Meterpreter. Oh god, no. I'm not doing that. Feel free to take whatever crappy code I end up writing for this and porting it to .NET Core. It's hard enough to try and get .NET framework stuff working on Windows, which really sucks. But you know, it just legacy stuff makes this stuff really painful. Check this comment out. Finally, if all else has failed, manually pull the exe out of the peb. Yeah, that's what I saw earlier on. I just went, no, please. As soon as I saw read process memory, went peb. Which, interestingly enough, is what is modified behind the scenes to try and hide things from process viewers and stuff. So what are we going to do? If to determine that something is actually of the right architecture, we are defaulting to that, and if it's well 64, then you must default to an unknown architecture. See, if the native architecture is 32-bit, then we know for sure that it has to be 32-bit. So that means maybe then we can just do this. If we have under sysconfig, there's this get native arch, get system architecture function. So if sysconfig.get system architecture equals so if it's actually, you know what we should do is this. Get native system info. Yeah, the thing is we kind of want to reuse as much of the code that we're going as possible, because it's fair to say that if the system arch is sys architecture equals so if the system architecture is x86, then the process has to be x86. Right? So let's do this. So if it's not, so it could be x64, right? Because that's what we're putting in when we do x64 or x86. So if it's 64-bit, then all we need to know is whether or not that process, if process dot is I'm going to add this as an extension. So if it's not, then arch equals x64. And then here, we can just go process TLV dot add TLV type dot standard API process architecture. We've actually got to give it, from what I can tell, it's a uint, right? What are these values again? Process arch x86. Process arch x86. Righto is 1. Okay, so arch equals, so if that's x86, then we'll have that. Otherwise, we'll have that. Okay, so now we just need to define these two. And we can do that in here. Actually, you know what? We should keep that in the same spot as, so get system architecture. Yeah, I'm going to have two different things here. We're going to have public static. Yeah, let's go uint. And I'm going to call it get system architecture ID. I'm going to say return get system architecture equals x86, and that's where we'll do this stuff. Otherwise x64. Okay, so we can define these, and then arch we can go get system architecture ID. But this means we're going to have these two as public constants. They're 1 and 2. Public const uint. Really can't type tonight, it's embarrassing. Equals 1u. Public const uint equals 2u. I could technically make these an enumeration, hey? Public enum type uint. Let's do that. And then down here, I can go. Sounds like we're looping through our music. Did I put lowercase x? I did. Get system. Someone had to say it. All right, so if it's 64-bit, then if the current process is WoW 64, then we go system architecture dot x86. Otherwise, we are just going to pass in the arch like that. So now we just need an extension method. Oops. An extension method in process extensions called public. Oof, crikey. Public static bool is wow64. This process. Excuse me. Man, I hit one key and so much stuff just magically appeared. That was emotional. Now, where is it? Where was that piece of code? Was this it here? No. Here we go. This is what we needed. Copy. Here's wow64 process. So, all we need to do is call this bool result. So, we want to be able to go is wow64 process dot handle out result. Okay. Think that's going to work? Let's find out. Righto, so our system architecture is x64. You know what I need to do? I need to put this outside of the loop. We don't need to call that for every single process. System arch. We do need to do something. We need to go var arch equals system arch. Because we can't overwrite. That makes more sense. Can't overwrite the local variable. Alright, let's try that again. Oh. Now we know it's 64-bit, so we just need to make sure that each one of these function calls is doing what we would expect. And then we might wrap it up. So, is the process wow64? Ooh. What exception? Access, of course. We need to Pokemon this shit. But this means we're going to have to Pokemon an action. So if we go to object extensions, so we don't want a T result this time, we just want a void and that's going to be an action of T. It's pretty gross. So all we have to do now is go I need to add Pokemon to the... God, I got so much stuff to do. The thing is, like, I don't actually have an object to hang this off. So I could do process, but that's pretty filthy. Ah, hang on. We can Pokemon it further up. Ah, yeah, this is what I need to do. I need to change this. We'll go t result def equals default t result. Can we do that? Yeah, we can. Because then I can go like this, return default. Then we can go, if not, process.pokemon p.isWow64, and we can give it a second parameter, which is the default we want to return. So is it wow64? We're going to say right, if it's wow64, I'm going to return false. Is that right? There we go. That would make more sense. I've actually got the booleans the wrong way around. So what I'm Pokemoning is, if we don't get wow64 throwing an exception, we'll get the result. Otherwise, we're going to say it's not a wow64 process. The other option is we don't specify it at all, which probably makes more sense, right? Yeah, let's just see what that looks like. Another follower. LRay741, thank you very much for the follow. It's very kind of you. Whew. Are these right? There's a lot of x64, x86, that's correct. That's correct. Now I'm guessing basically everyone here that we don't know, these ones we wouldn't know the architecture of, so we're defaulting to whatever the system architecture is, so maybe OneDrive is 32-bit. This Studio is 32-bit. I think that actually works fairly well, except for one thing, like should we default to the system architecture if we are unable to detect it? Don't run this on ARM. Oh, jeez. That's filthy, isn't it? Chrome.exe, yeah, Chrome. That's 64-bit. Should we prove it? How do I select columns? Which one is it again? Platform. Okay, so Chrome is 64-bit. It wins. It absolutely is a false assumption, but right now, the only supported platforms for Meterpreter are Windows. You could potentially assume that if the system arch is x86, then the processors will be. Well, if you have a look here, that's exactly what I'm doing. If the architecture is 64-bit, then do something. If it's not 64-bit, we're just writing whatever the architecture is. Great minds at Wolf. The thing is that we're not actually querying the current process's architecture by doing this, so we're kind of guessing. And this is WoW 64 thing. I mean, you know what we could do is we could try and do this, and if it throws an exception, we can just not set it. But yeah, I don't know. I think for now I'm probably happy to leave that as is, except for the one case, and that is if the architecture, like if we don't have permission, we're going to set a value, and technically we shouldn't. If an exception is actually thrown, 1 minute. Yeah, I do. 1 minute to go. You know what maybe we should do? Maybe what we should do is have like a different Pokemon overload. I mean, this is still very useful, but I'm thinking of doing it this way as well. So if we have that, then we also have an action that takes a T result. And then instead of returning, we have a void. And then we just go AF. Don't die on me now. Oh. Thought Visual Studio was going to be a jerk. Which isn't exactly obvious, right? So what we can do here is we can say process.pokemon. If the process is WoW64, then when we get the result, we can say do this. We can say if it's WoW64, then that's a 32-bit process. So that's system architecture dot x86 system architecture dot x64. And we got to cast it because reasons. So what that means is that if this throws an exception, we won't actually set the process architecture. This is pretty filthy, but I think this this makes a little bit more sense. There we go, because we're actually going to see gaps for things that we don't have permission for now. Makes a bit more sense, hey? Rather than guessing that they're x64, which is what the native one would do. What do you guys think of that? I think that makes a little bit more sense. All right. We've gone 2 minutes over. Does that make sense? Did we learn something? Did we yet again get a little bit disappointed about the fact that .NET doesn't seem to be giving us the little bits and pieces that we really want? I don't know. Makes me a little bit sad, not gonna lie. It's kind of hoping for a little bit more than that. Anyone have any questions before we wrap up? I was about to have some more chocolate, but I think that's a bad idea. I learned how to clip things. Did you learn how the Pokemon pattern is the big takeaway for tonight, isn't it? The Pokemon pattern. And yeah, I'm going to revisit some of that code and tidy it up, but you know, we are still in a semi-exploratory sort of stage, so we might even do a bit of refactoring in our next stream. But I do intend to do another one on Thursday. I'm glad you enjoyed that one, Aaron. Yeah, I don't even remember the first time I heard the words Pokemon pattern, but it's definitely a thing, and it's definitely stuff you see in code. And if you're writing enterprise/production systems, you really shouldn't do that kind of thing. But we are very much, you know, we're trying to stay alive at all costs scenario. So we'll do whatever it takes. Yeah, take it. Spread the love. Pass it off as your own. But look, as always, grateful for everyone turning up and sharing thoughts and having a bit of a laugh. I'm hoping my Stream Deck's going to work next time we stream. Hopefully there'll be a release that will sort this out. I don't know why. For some reason my Stream Deck's not working, but yeah. That's right, Daily. What the fuck? But no, I'm grateful for your company. Thanks for coming along. I appreciate the support as always, and I hope very soon we will get through the channel related stuff if we can put some time aside, like in a 4 to 6 hour block, which I should be able to do hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But if not, we may just have to piecemeal it over a couple of streams. So yeah, it is basically allowable. I agree. No, I don't have one of those, Barney. All right, I'm going to sign off. Thanks again to everybody for joining in, and hit me up on Discord or Twitter or whatever. Thanks to the Patreons and Twitch subscribers, and to the anonymous gifter who seems to throw subs at people every time I fire this thing up. I hope to see you guys on Thursday. Until then, be good to each other.